I'm still doing a little bit of construction at the warehouse, but before I have paying customers, I've already started storing some cars in my shop. I got the two 911s, my car on the left, and my sister's 911 on the right. But today, even though I've got plenty of work to do, I need to get my sister's car ready for spring. She called me last week and says, "Hey, I'm thinking about picking up the 911. Is it ready?" And I was like, "No, it's still in storage. I have to change the oil on it, and I've got a little bracket I was going to replace this year on it. So let me get that car in the lift and put some work on it this weekend." You've seen this 911 in my shop before. It's a 1987 Carrera with a G50 transmission. So this is one of the nice Motronic-fired 3.2 liter Carrera 911s. Really great car. I mean, I started it up the other day, and it's been in storage all winter and fired right up, no problems whatsoever. And so the only thing it really needs this year is just a oil change. But when I had it up in the air last year, I noticed a bracket that was rusting out. So I went ahead and bought it this winter. So while it's up in the air and on the rack, I'm just going to go ahead and change this little bracket. So the other side of the brace is inside the engine compartment, which it's a good thing I had to do the oil change because the oil filter was in the way. And the nut is right there, the other side of it. Big nut, I think it's like a 32 millimeter or 30 millimeter, I forget. I ended up using an adjustable wrench and also removed the air filter housing assembly to get access to it. So it was a good time to do it because I was doing a service anyway, checking the air filter and removing the oil filters. So I was able to unbolt it from this side. So the next thing we have to worry about is getting this nut off. It's obviously has not been removed in 40 years. So it was a little seized. It's a coarse thread, so it should pop out pretty easily. But I'm going to put some heat on this thing before I even try to release it with the 10 millimeter because it could shear or break. Adding a little bit of heat, I'm going to use this inductive heater. This thing is a magnetic induction heater, and what it does is it heats ferrous metal up through magnetic induction as opposed to using a torch. Normally, if I use a torch, I'd add heat to this area and burn the paint. So if you don't have one of these things, I highly recommend it. I mean, they're so useful, especially for things like this where you don't want to put an open flame. And it concentrates the heat just at the bolt where I need it, not around it or anything like that. And you can see it, it's already heating up and getting it red hot. Just enough for it to start releasing some of the corrosion, and then I could just put a wrench on it and it'll come right off. And that's the trick. So here's the part. It's identical to the one in the 911. Got it all out, and I'm just going to replace some of the hardware in here because it's just too rusty. Luckily, I have new ones. I could put that in and clean it all up and put it back in, and we should be good to go. All right, oil change is done. I'm going to take this car out for a quick drive just to make sure everything's working okay. I found the front right ball joint is a little loose. To keep that in mind, I might have to replace that. Yeah, this 911 has been in my family for almost 40 years. This is a 1987 Porsche 911 that my sister bought in 1989. And she's had it ever since. It's got 183,000 miles on it. And engine was rebuilt probably about 150,000 miles ago. You know, 150, 160, I think. It's just been motored along. Great little engine. I changed oil and just checked everything and fixed that brace. Just noticed like the front, like I said, that front suspension has got a little bit of a rattle to it. I think the ball joint, the gator, or rather the the dust seal has cracked, and I think it's a little bit of dirt has been into it, so it's starting to wear out a little bit, and I think it's going to get close to the time that I should probably be replaced. But it feels pretty tight. I mean, no weird suspension, things like that. I think it's just got a little bit of play. Like if I pull on the tire, I can feel just a little bit of movement in that ball joint. Porsche 911s, you either love them or you hate them. I mean, I don't think there's any in between. I think the people who like 911s, they just like the way they feel, and they feel like there's just no other car that drives like that. And they're right. There really isn't anything else that drives like that. I mean, they have this lightness to the steering wheel because the engine is hanging out of the back way past the rear axle. They just have this real interesting feel and dynamic to them. I mean, the front is so light, and the way it squats and pushes when you get on the gas, most cars just don't feel like that. And some people just don't like the way that feels, but at the same time, you know, that's what makes 911 so appealing. Is they just have this definite launch feeling when you go and drive them. This particular 911 has a nice little growl to the exhaust. It's real simple. It's just heat exchangers and a single muffler in the rear, but it has a nice growl to it. And part of that comes from the fact that it's an air-cooled car, so there's really not a lot of water jackets that muffle the noise on this engine. Is when you compare it to that acceleration that I just did compared to what I did with the Ferrari just a couple days ago. She's pulling pretty strong. It's a totally different feel. I mean, this is not a super powerful engine. It's probably about 200 and it's probably about 200 and change, maybe just around 200 horsepower. And I think the Ferraris have a little bit more horsepower, but again, you're talking about gross and net horsepower, the way they reported horsepower. But I think that this car probably has a little less horsepower compared to the Ferraris and the V12s, but it's just a lot less drama. I think that this car just has a very smooth delivery. It's not very peaky. This 3.2 injected engine is just very smooth. It's not very explosive. Like I've noticed the other 911s with carburetors and race cams and all that other stuff, they tend to be a lot peakier. This is just a really good, easy car to drive. It's got a light flywheel relatively to other cars, but at the same time, not as light as I've driven in some of these hot race setup 911s, but it makes it a lot easier to shift. It's a lot more forgiving. But it's just a reliable standard car. I mean, I think that everybody wants to make these 911s faster, and they hot rod them and all this, and then they really don't become streetable anymore. They're peaky. They don't really develop power down low. There's less torque. It's all about high-end stuff. So you find yourself going through town and you're just like flying a gear lower just to keep it in the power band, and it makes it a lot less drivable. This is a stock 3.2 motor, and it just really just knows what it's doing. It does no drama. It just drives perfectly fine, and it's a perfect car for my sister because, you know, she just drives it to the beach. She drives it around town. She lives up in Vermont, and takes it on these back roads, and takes it to dinner, meets her friends, goes and visits friends and stuff. And it's a perfect car to jump in and do it. Reliable, will always get you home. Plenty of power, keeps up in traffic, and just a good all-around car. It doesn't need to be fancy. It doesn't need to be a hot rod or anything like that. It's just perfectly fine as a stock engine, and it's fuel injected, so it starts every time, and it just doesn't have any problems with anything. And on top of it, it's air cooled, so even if you get stuck in traffic, it's not going to overheat. It's just a good, reliable car. All right, so after the drive with this 911, I decided just go ahead and order the ball joints. I mean, I could hear it rattling away, and it just didn't make me feel comfortable about handing the keys over to my sister and having her drive it with this ball joint that's about to go. If it were my personal car, I would probably do it a little bit more, just because as a mechanic, you know when it gets really bad. When you're working on your sister's car, you just don't want to hear about the wheel falling off or this catastrophic noise. And it's really hard to predict when a ball joint is going to go. I mean, you can hear it go bad, but you know, you shouldn't ever push it because it's just dangerous. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the ball joint out. Looking at the way this thing is put together, I may have to drop the sway bar link, but the ball joint looks pretty straightforward, and it's a lot easier to do it on the lift. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it and get it out of here and swap. And I'm going to do both sides. So you know, let me just get this thing back together so I can hand the car back.
This week's Ferrari mechanic struggle is seeing how easy it is to get spare parts for other cars. I'm working on this 911 and had a rusted out bracket that held the lower fender on to the car, or attached to the car. And I looked it up online, and here's a part for it. Just exactly the same way it was built, the same size, everything, with a new nut and washer. And I just laughed to myself because it's like, you try to get this for a Ferrari, good luck with that. I mean, admittedly, 911s, they made tens of thousands of these cars, so this thing is not an uncommon part. I'm sure it rusts out plenty so they can make them. But with production numbers on a Ferrari being so low, and you know, good luck trying to get parts like this. I mean, this is something that I would never be able to fabricate if it existed on a Ferrari for cheap. And I think this thing was $100, okay? I mean, I would pay for this kind of money to make one of these things. I can't make it for that kind of money. But on the Ferrari side, you know, you're never gonna have this stuff. So it's just frustrating sometimes when you work on Porsches and then you work on Ferraris and you see such a big difference in the availability of parts. But I guess if it was easy, everybody would be a Ferrari mechanic.